Welcome to the Believe and Achieve podcast with Lyndon Longhorn and Jay Manners. You will learn many hints and tips throughout this program. It will be a process which will be ongoing and will inspire you throughout your career. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast with Jay Manners and Lyndon Longhorn. We are your hosts, and we hope you enjoyed our last episode with Jay Elliott. Was very inspiring, which I'm sure Jay will agree with me on that, because considering we got goosebumps halfway through it, and well, to be fair, I wouldn't even say halfway through, I'd say all the way through, to be honest with you. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun to have Jay on. Obviously I know Jay on a personal level as well, but it was really great to hear inside depth of what he's been through as a swimmer, as a person. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully we might have many more to come.
Yeah, fingers crossed in it. I know we've got a few left of this series, and then obviously we're going to progress, and we're going to do more, but obviously we'll keep you updated with all the socials, and feel free to stay up to date with Twitter, Instagram, and all the other platforms that you can think of. We are trying to see what else we can do, but at the minute it is a work in progress. But today we're going to have the discussion about planning. And I know a lot of you might think planning, what is it about planning that we're going to talk about? And it's more how me and Jay have basically got our schedules correct in we both have different schedules. So myself, I have the work-life balance of being able to work full-time and being able to train, and also have a little one as well, and being able to work out when I can have her, spend days with her and things like that, because without the correct balance, your body's just going to get absolutely fatigued, and you're just going to find yourself digging a hole all the time, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. And it keeps you in that place of being able to say, all right, I know what I'm doing today, and I'm not going to be running around like headless chicken on days. And that's the last thing you want, especially when it comes to the time when you've got exams, or you've got A levels coming up or whatever, or you've got a dissertation to submit through uni. It's the last thing you want to be worrying about when you just turn around and be like, oh, I forgot training this morning, or I forgot to hand in a piece of work, I've got an hour left to do it. It doesn't flow. And if we want to share our hints and tips of what we've done, and Jay's got obviously a business to run, and got his life going on around him with swimming, and potentially going to uni, which I'm sure Jay might talk about. But we're going to go into depth of what we've done previously, what we've come across, what helps us, what doesn't help us, and yeah, hopefully you guys can take a little bit from that. So moving on to obviously Jay, I know obviously you've gone through life of being a full-time athlete and pushing yourself on and trying to get the balance correctly. So what have you found most useful for helping you throughout the years when you very first started your swimming career?
Yeah, so when I first started swimming, obviously I was still a part of school, going through primary school and then transitioning to secondary school. From a very young age, I've always been a believer of sticking to a routine. It just makes life so much easier just sticking by a routine, because even when we were in secondary school, we were given these student day planners, and you could plan what your week would look like, where your school timetable would be, when you've got homework.
Oh, love the planners when you get them in secondary school.
But this is the thing, we get given them, and obviously it's the first week of schooling, you have all new pencils, all new pens, everything like that, new planner, and you use it for the first couple of weeks, and then you sort of forget about it.
I agree with you on that.
I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of it, no matter what where you are, or what work you do and stuff like that. But it's trying to avoid ignoring it. I used to use it all the time, because I'm quite a forgetful person, to be honest. My memory can be shocking, especially now through this lockdown and bloody COVID, but hey ho. But sometimes there was one time in secondary school where I forgot a piece of homework, and I was oh shit, what am I gonna do? This is it was a disaster for me, really. It probably looking back, it doesn't sound as serious, but it is something serious to me that I've forgotten to do something that I was meant to do.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've stuck to a routine that's like carried on all the way throughout my life for different reasons of what I need to do on this day, what I need to do on that day. And it just, honestly, it just makes your life so much easier, which I'm pretty sure you would imagine as well, like sticking to a routine. But like, it also makes you enjoy and like look forward to what's to come
Yeah.
as well, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm also one of these people that like to do stuff straight away when I get it. So like in school, if I would get homework or something like that, I would try and do it as soon as possible. Then I can like look forward to my free time, or like I'm not worrying about like coming back from training to worry about doing some homework.
So total opposite of me then.
Are you not like that?
No, but I'll get into that later on. I'll let you carry on with that.
But yeah, it's just trying to find a balance between like your work and your swimming or whatever that you do. And yeah, like my biggest tip is just like scheduling what your week looks like before it happens. And if anything pops up during that week, then you can add it on or whatever. But if you know a baseline or a guideline of what to do every single day, like throughout the week, it relaxes you actually. Like it's quite therapeutic in a way for me, because it's like, oh well, I've got like an off day or like a free day, like I can do whatever I want. Or if, like, you have a really busy day, sometimes busy days can be your best days of your life as well, because like you're so all like hands on. Like for example, like a busy day for me would be like swim in the morning, go and do some work, or like reply to emails or something like that, have gym, and then go for another swim. Like that's a like pretty busy day, like hands-on day, but like it's good because it makes you human and it makes you you. And yeah, what about you?
So for me, I've always gone through, like when I was in secondary school and started training and stuff like that, it was kind of at the point where every day I took it as it came. It wasn't until I started to like get older, like I'd never, I completely admit to this, I'd never used my planner once through secondary school. Never. Had my timetable and that was it. Like if anyone says that they've used it, I think you're telling porcupines, like, but fair enough.
Yeah.
I think as well, like it's quite easy to just take it, put it in your bag and be like, oh yeah, it's there. Like it's there if I need it. But I feel like now, so I did it a few years ago where I just run off basically what I was doing day by day. And I was like, oh yeah, I know I've got this today. Yeah, I know I've got that today. And then it kind of got to the point where everything was starting to get on top of us and I needed to start and become more organized with it. And then basically moving forward, so like the last few years, I've found that using Excel, using a spreadsheet has basically helped me out to learn what each week entails. So I'll run off like a 2-week rotation. So basically basing it around what hours I'm working, what hours I'm training, when I train, when I work, and when I do gym. And then basically plot it out to like color coordinate it as well, which is a massive, massive benefit. And then at least I know, say for example, like if it's a Wednesday and I'm working like a late shift, then I know I can go and get the little one for a couple of hours or a few hours in the morning. But like I know now, if I didn't run how I'm running, my schedules will just be all over the place. And I feel like it helps your mental health side of it, because as soon as you start to run off track where, oh, I'm forgetting homework, or I'm forgetting I've got this meeting today, or I'm forgetting I've got to be down in London or wherever, it kind of makes you stress out a bit and you kind of turn around and I've done it loads and I'll gladly admit, like I've lashed out on people and been like, oh, just why are you nagging at us, or why are you doing this? And it's quite easy because you don't realize until like you take a step back and think, okay, yeah, fair enough, I have been a bit of a muppet for doing that, to be honest with you. But you realize that, but at the end of the day, we're all human. None of us are like absolutely perfect or like amazing at like planning. We're all going to forget something at some time. But using a spreadsheet or using a planner, using a diary, whatever you use, could be a massive benefit just from planning out week by week, so you know where you're at.
I think it's just like learning what suits you as well, because like a lot, like going back to like the school student planners and stuff like that, everyone had the same thing, and it was just
Yeah.
like it didn't really suit a lot of people. It didn't really suit me as much because like it was really tiny, so you could easily lose it. But like then
Yeah.
again, it was really useful because I was able to just like get out my blazer and just like write down quickly of like what homework I need to do. But
Yeah.
as I've got older, and what I have now is I have a whiteboard on my wall, and then I write down what I've got for the week to come. Like every Sunday, I would change it, and obviously, like depending on what happens during that week, I know where I'm at or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But another main thing about routines is when it comes to exams and doing assignments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, when doing GCSEs or A levels or anything like that, it's trying to find the balance of exams, studying, all that workload to say for if you're an athlete of like how you're going to balance that with your training.
Yeah.
What I used to do when I was going through GCSEs, it was weird because I was one of these students where I would have exams in year 10 and 11.
Yeah.
So I was 14 when I sat my first GCSE exam. And that's crazy to think like a 14-year-old doing like an exam that pretty much determines where you go from here. But it was only for 5 exams. It was
that like 10 years ago or something now?
I cheek. I'm not that old. I'm only 21. But it was like what was it? It was like a science top, like it was a science unit. So you had your biology, your physics, and your chemistry, and I had English literature as well.
Yeah.
There was only a couple of sets that had to do that. It was me. It was our set and another set that had to do it. But like, I'm glad we done it because we knew what to expect when it came to year 11, where you had more exams to do in that year and stuff like that. And with balancing them exams and studying and stuff with training, what we'd do was if I had the exam in the morning and I had morning training that morning, I would still go morning training because I believe like it wakes you up for the exam a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you're more awake, you're more alert. But if I had morning training and the exam was on the afternoon, then I would take the morning off. Obviously, that's a discussion with your coach and stuff like that. Yeah, because I usually zone out about 1-2 o'clock. That's what I found out.
Fair enough.
That's what I found out like during like the first year when I was doing exams. Obviously, like train all the evenings and stuff like that, and then after training, I would have food or whatever, and then I would study a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of like if you study like 3-4 hours straight, yeah, great, amazing. But like, is it going in? If you have like 45 minutes a break, 45 minutes a break, or something like that, that like I got decent GCSE grades. Like they weren't amazing, but they were enough to get me to places that I want to be.
Yeah.
And I found that tactic really well because like as soon as you go like studying and then you start to lose interest in it, then that's when you should just stop.
Yeah.
Because it's going out. It's not going in. You know what I mean?
I think it's important as well to know what works for you. And it might be that working for an hour and a half works and then taking like a 15-20 minute break just to switch off or get some food. And say, for example, like for me, on a working day, so like I'll train. So my Monday, I'll train in the morning. So like train at 5:30 till 7:30. But like I'll get up at 4 o'clock because I have like vitamins to take and like make sure I get a drink down before I actually train. And then basically you go to work. So I work till like 11:30 till 4:30, but I'll do like 2 hours on and then a 15-minute break and then another 2 hours so that I get my full shift in. And then basically go back training on the night. So it can be quite busy and you might not get time to nap. And I know, like yourself, like a nap can be important. And like
absolutely.
For me, I think any swimmer or any form of athlete will tell you if you train in the morning, that a nap is vitally important. Especially if you've got like a key set on a night or whatever you've got, it's important just to get as much recovery in as possible. And like for me, I used to study when I was back in school. I used to study for like couple of hours and then be like, right, that's enough. Because I used to just bore myself to death. And I wish now I hadn't done that. And it's kind of at that point where you look back on life now and think to yourself, if I did things different, then I might have been better. But you kind of look back on the past, you have to look forward, and you learn by your experience and your mistakes, and you try and change things around for yourself and to benefit you. I mean,
yeah, I was just about to say that actually, because it is like trial and error, isn't it? Like, like you just said there, like studying, you wish that you studied more than just like 2 hours, but like you've changed that to this day, and like you've changed it to where like you found like a perfect, obviously not really studying now, but you're working.
Yeah.
So it's like find that balance with your work and the swimming as well.
I think, like, if I use the example of work, so like I've just managed to get my shift changed through work now, which is great, and the support what I have, like, you couldn't thank them enough for what help I've been given. But I feel like before, so I was doing like 10-hour shifts, and then my previous job I was doing like long hours, but like some days it'd be like, oh, you're working at 8 o'clock, and then the next day you'd be working at 10 o'clock, and then you're back in at like 1 o'clock the next day, and then you're kind of all over the place. And anyone will tell you, working off a routine, who you know really well, and it's basically getting everything spot on, you know that they're running off a really, really tight schedule to make sure that they're eating correctly, they're eating at the right times, they're recovering at the right times. And if they've got like a photo shoot or like a meeting or work to get to, then you know that is when it's at. And any later or any earlier, like early is a bonus in my opinion, but if you're late, then it's kind of like you are going to get a bit stressed. You might not show it because like a lot of people do bottle it up, and it's quite easy to do that, and it shouldn't be. You should just be like, okay, fair enough, yeah, I was late and it was my fault. But if you stick to that schedule, then you know you're going to be on the right tracks, and you're going to be like a world class athlete one day.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just second on that as well. We probably will mention it more and more, like as this episode goes on, that routine and planning it's so key. And like I was very grateful of the routine and planning that I had through going through GCSEs, because like what we would do, what we decide, like my parents and my coach would be like what I just said, like train on a morning. If I had a morning exam, like that would be fine. It's just like trying to do as many sessions as you can, unless you need that session off where you like need to study like for like if you have like a double exam in one day, so that you have an exam in the morning and afternoon, then maybe training on the morning won't be the best, or training the night before, because like you've got 2 lots of exams to do. And again, it's just like what does you. But personally for me, I felt as though swimming and training was something to take your mind away from all of that academic stress. Like, I felt like it was like obviously training's very, very hard, and like it's intense, and it has its own mental side of it as well. But in order to because a lot of people do like to just study and like miss training. Like if that helps you with your academics, then you do you. But like I sometimes feel like you do need that break, and whether that break will be going to training, you can just relax and you not forget about it, but like take your mind away from what you've got to come.
Yeah, it's the peace of mind type of thing that it's more down to, rather than like just switching off. I don't know about you, Jay, but I feel like it's quite easy to just, once you get switched off, then you switched off, and it's quite hard to pick yourself back up, especially if like you've got, I don't know, 2-3 exams in one day, and then you've got 2 the next day, then you've got a day off. It can be quite hard, especially if you turn around and say, yeah, do you know what? My GCSEs or A-levels, they are really important to me for where I want them to be. And it's like any sport what you go into, it's like this is your lifespan, but yet you've got that small gap, which is your sport and career. And it's like, yes, you want to make the most out of everything and get the GCSEs, and whether you get them and you take a year out, or you take the time out to get your swimming career on, or your sport and career off to a go, then great. But I don't know about you, Jay, but you know, like if say you had a routine in place for like your exams and swimming schedule, Did you find it changing much when you were going into competition, or will you tend to just keep it the same?
What, like just going into forgetting about exams and stuff, or like including exams?
So like, if it would you tend to like keep your exams, or would you kind of just switch off and just be like, do you know what, I'll do my revisions. So say for example, you travel to Sheffield on the Friday, you're racing Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Would you then come back on a Sunday night and be like all stressed out and being, oh, do you know what, I have got an exam on Monday and then I just need to get this race out the way, forget swim down, forget whatever I need to do and just get back home and revise? Or did you tend to just stick to a routine?
That's a very good question, actually, because when we have our regionals, that is peak of when our exams start. Luckily for like my year, regionals were at Sunderland rather than Sheffield, so that was a bonus for like people like my age, because we didn't have to worry about travel or anything like that. But it is a tricky one, because I used to just focus on the competition rather than the exams, because at the time for me, regionals was one of the important competitions like of my swimming career, because I wasn't making the nationals at that age. But I knew I had an exam on the Monday, like the Monday after the competition. So we had a period, like a lunch period. I would have my lunch and I would just have like a quick 20 minutes just going over, like just having a little recap, like from a textbook or something, like just going through over everything. Because like it helped me actually take my mind away from the pressure of racing. And it helped me like with the exam as well. So I'm getting knowledge, but like I'm also not stressing too much about the competition as well. So I managed to balance that like pretty well. But it is difficult, because like when we have like regionals, it is like bang on with exam season. And this is what like sort of frustrates me a little bit, because a lot of people do end up leaving the sport due to the amount of pressure from exams. It's really sad to see, because like, yes, I guess exams are really important, but you only have one shot in your sport and career, especially swimming, with it being like quite a young sport that it is. And it's quite upsetting to see like 15, 16, 17-year-olds quitting so early or leaving the sport. But like, I totally get it's their choice and everything like that, but it's hard to... I feel like with exams, you have the opportunity to resit it if you want to resit it. With swimming, you don't have another chance. If you know what I mean. Like, you might have another chance, but like, you don't get as serious enough chance as what you do from the first time. Like, it's great to see some people like who've stopped swimming and have came back stronger. Like, that's absolutely brilliant. But like 9 times out of 10, some people like stop swimming and that's it. Like they don't go from there. And it might be same to like other sports and stuff like that. I just feel like when it comes to that exam season, you need to have that conversation with your coach, your parents, what you want, what is that you want to do. And if you want to carry on doing what, like swimming or sport or whatever you want to do, then you need to have that balance and planning in advance, whether that would be 2 months away from exam season. If you know what you want to do in this sport and what you want to achieve, then these obstacles will help you. And again, just like finding a routine and like planning all of these, of like knowing what your exam schedule is, where it fits in with your swimming timetable, and when it comes to a competition. If you manage to plan out, you might not have to do that competition. Like, you might not want to do that because you've got such a hectic exam schedule. Then that's fair enough. But once that's over, then you're free. You know what I mean?
I feel like as well, it can kind of get to the point where, say, for example, you're going for Olympic trials and you might turn around and be like, oh, I've got an exam coming up or something like that. Because I know like a lot of our guys have had exams, and it's kind of been at the time when trials have been there, or there's been like a big competition coming up, and it's kind of questioning yourself at that point to turn around and say, is this what I want to do? Is swimming might not be now. It might have to wait a little bit and put it on the back burner. And it can take a little bit of a hard discussion to have between yourself, your coach, the support staff that you have, your parents, whoever it may be. And it's important just to turn around to yourself and say, right, where do I want to be with my career? Where do I want to be with swimming? And if you're aiming to get to, I don't know, like an Olympic Games or something, or European World Juniors or World Champs or whatever, you might actually turn around and say, do you know what? I'm going to put all my heart and soul into this, and I'm still going to do my education. But you need to have that communication with your coach to get the balance correct. Because once one starts to go, you might see your swimming career start to take off, but you might slowly start to forget. You might not realize it. I've done it loads, and I'll happily put it out there that I've realized it loads when I see work start to suffer. And that's because I've put a lot of effort in my swimming, because I know the passion's there and I know where it can take us. But it's having that belief in yourself. And this is why, obviously, we call the podcast Believe and Achieve, because it's like you have to believe in yourself and you have to have the right believing group around you, and then you will achieve it. But like, planning is a vital part. And I think a lot of people look at it to say, oh, well, why do I need planning? Or what is about planning that's going to help me out? Do you know? And I get that, and it's easy. And me and Jill both sit here and say, yeah, okay, yeah, that is right. We did it. Gladly did that. We've already said we throw down our planners. You get your planner, you put it in your blazer. That's it. See you later. I'm off.
Yeah. But too many times.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you look back now and think, do you know what? That planner has actually saved my life now.
Yeah.
Because of that. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely. And once you've done your exams and stuff like that, and then you transfer to doing like A levels, and then you go on to uni, or if you do BTEC, like I'd done BTEC after my GCSEs and went to Sunderland College, and that was like perfect 2 years for me, because it helped the balance with swimming and my work. And like I'd done so well in like my college work, because like I thrive on coursework. Like I don't know about you, but I struggle with exams. Like there's just something about them. Yeah,
hate exams. I'd rather give me coursework any day. Bosh, see you later. I'll do it.
Like exams, so much better.
It's like a big memory test that you have, where you've just got to memorize so much information. You could memorize that information, it'd be something completely irrelevant. You're like,
exactly,
why did I even bother with that?
Exams are just memory tests. Like that's the way I see them. But yeah, and one of the reasons why I took that course was because like to help with my swimming. Yeah, I wasn't like really making anything in swimming or like doing anything like spectacular, but I just love the sport so much. And I just feel as though with being like a late developer through the sport, like I feel like I still haven't hit my potential, like not yet or anywhere near it. And it's just a gradual progress through. And then obviously when I'd done my 2 years of college, like pretty much aced it, like triple distinction star. It's like, where do I go from here? You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to go to university. I wasn't ready for university yet.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't want to go. So that's when I took like a couple of years out of just to focus on swimming. But like that's when we had our like sweet shop business. You know what I mean? Like a family business, and that it's important not to stick everything onto one thing. So like for me, just like at the time I was quite lucky because I was like progressing and swimming really, really well, and I didn't really like have like a dip throughout them couple of years, which I like was quite fortunate to have. But like if you do come to a dip, you can't just like it's hard to just focus on that one thing. You need to have something in the background. Like for you, example is if you have like a really tough time in training, you've got work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you need to have something else other than what you're going through at the minute, if that makes sense. So like I have the work, like the business.
I think as well, it's quite easy to turn around and be like, yeah, yes, hats off to like all the full-time athletes, because it's a wonderful thing to have and it's great. And everyone's not the same. And we're not turning around here and saying, oh, take a year out. Like, that's not what we're saying at all. It's getting knowing what you want to do. If you want to do education, mint, absolutely brilliant. Go and do education. Go and experience university. If you get a scholarship as well, that's even a bonus, because you might find that you're on that level where the uni can help you and the club can help you as well that you're with. But unless you know where you want to be, and it's important to just know, like, are you taking a gap year for the right reason, or are you taking a gap year just for like because you want to take a gap year? And whether that's taking a gap year from swimming or taking a break, because I know that's what I did. I completely took time out of the water because I needed to, and after 2016, and the best decision that I ever made, because now I've come back and I feel so much mentally refreshed and physically refreshed. Yes, it was hard, and yes, I hit a mental block, and I realised that, and I'd quite happily say it is now. Yes, I've hit a mental block, and it's the best thing that I've done to come out of swimming, but go back into swimming, so that you're not just like it is intense. Any sport is intense, whatever you're in, and you can just be on it all the time. But you need to take time for yourself and just say, right, okay, I do need to switch off. And it's like, yes, I've got work and I've got like swimming and I've got the little one to like all in that little circle to help me out. And it's like, Jay, you've got your swimming, you've got like the business that you're running, potentially going back to uni. What made you turn around and say to yourself, do you know what, I'm going to take a break? Or was it just kind of a decision where you were like, yeah, I do need a break?
It was like going through like the uni application through my last year at college, and it
Yeah.
was just like, is this really some? And like going to different open days to universities and stuff like that, like they were brilliant and stuff like that. But I felt like going to them uni open days is like, is this what I really want? Like at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do as a career yet,
Okay.
either.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go to university to study something that I didn't want to do in the future. That's what led me to think, it's like having a discussion with like my coach as well. I was just like, I have no idea of what I want to do. And then that's when he suggested, but why don't you take a gap year? Like, and then that helped. Like, it did help to understand, like, to like realize what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And like, since I love swim, then that's when I got involved with like helping out coaching and stuff like that. And then had that year, then another year, and then another year, like building up my coach. And then I started doing coaching qualifications, doing your first aid. Oh, I can't remember what you call it. Like your lifeguard rescue for like coaches and stuff like that.
NVQ?
I can't remember what you call it.
I don't know. Mind
But
blank.
it's not as intense as what like a lifeguard goes through, but it's like a coach's lifeguard sort of thing. Like it's like a thing that you would do. Say for example, if I coach a session by myself, then I'm qualified to go and rescue a swimmer if they need help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing the safeguarding course over lockdown. Like I was just building like these qualifications up or CPDs to like help me with my coaching, because I feel like this year now I've found out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that is like coaching in swimming. And this is what led me to doing a distance learning university degree, like hopefully this September if I get accepted. Because like I feel like with doing this now, it will, if I build all these qualifications up, and when I retire from swimming, whenever that will be, I have no idea, then I've got these qualifications ready for like it'll be hopefully a smooth transition of when I stop swimming into a career. So it was just, for me, it was just learning what I wanted to do for myself. And at that time, I feel like when you're 17, 18, like it's you don't really know what you want to do unless you try and experience different things. And that's what that gap year helped me to do, was experience different sectors of something that I was interested in, which has then led me to wanting to be a swimming coach or something involved with swimming for the rest of my life.
I think, like you're saying, it's knowing that you want to go to university, and it's like you saying doing the open days and things like that. It's important that you go and do them to get a feel of a university campus, whether that's you staying at home or you going to a local one, or whether that's you finding, do you know what, I'm going to move away and I'll move down. I don't know. I'll move down to Bath, or I'll move down to Loughborough. I'll move up to Scotland and
I went down to Surrey.
Wow.
I've been like during them open days. I've went down to Surrey, down to East London.
Yeah. It's a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
Like $9,000 a year to go to university, and you're moving away, and then finding after your first year, like, I don't want to do this. Like, when really, if you're at that point, and I think like you'll say it as well, I would gladly say now, like, yes, I went straight into uni and I did that. I'd done the transition, but I completely messed up. So I did college, and then in my first year I did A level, and then the second year I was like, I really want to go to university because it's just something that I've always wanted to do, and like take my sport with us, because I knew I could get a scholarship to help me out. But it was kind of at that point where I was like, in my second year at college, they were like, right, you need to do 2 years worth of work in a year of like BTEC. And I was like, yep, that's fine. I did it, like smashed it out, and come out with like a double distinction starter, because I only went for like stuff what you do in like 2 years, which was great, because it's all I needed to get us in, which was a bonus. But like, if anyone wants to go to university, it's important just to say, right, let's go and have a feel for the campus and see what it's like. Whether you go by yourself, whether you go with friends who are going to the same uni, whether you go with your parents, family, whoever it is, if it's not for you, take a year out, focus on your sport, or go into a gap year abroad or something like that. Whatever you think is the most beneficial, just do it. There's nothing stopping you to turn around and say, oh, I regret that. Why would you regret it when it's a learning experience, and all you can do is learn from it and move forward? Like, I'd gladly say that to anyone.
100%. And it's like, you have one life, go and live it. Like, do exactly what you want, like, at the end of the day. So like with you, obviously you have swimming, you have work, and you also have a family.
Yeah.
That they're pretty, it's like the big three, really, isn't it? And it's like, how do you manage all three?
It's tough to manage all three. And like, yes, we do like co-parent and stuff like that to obviously make sure the little one sees us both. But it's important to turn around and say, right, this is when I do gym. This is when I do my swimming sessions, whether that's 6, 7, 8 pool sessions a week, and you're doing, I don't know, 20 hours. I mean, I've gone from doing about 40 hours of work down to 20 hours, because doing 40 hours of work, training 20 to 25 hours a week, as well as like getting 1 day rest, and it's finding the time when I can actually go and see the little one, which was quite tough, because it's like, I can't, like, it's really hard, and it started to drain us down. But whereas now that I've got a more schedule in place, and I run by a spreadsheet, so I'll run because I know what my working hours are for 2 weeks at a time. I'll basically run a schedule off a 4-week rota. So I'll do a monthly plan and turn around and say, right, this is when I'm competing. This is when I train. This is when I get the little one. This is what hours I do work. And this is how much time I've got free. And then I know my free time is either the most vital part, which is recovery, and make the most out of that recovery process, or you spend as much time with the little one as you can to actually get the balance right. And it's having the little one is like that mental refresh, and it kind of makes you switch off and go, okay, I can forget about my sport. And everyone's like, oh, why would you forget about your sport? Because it's important to take that time away from the pool, rather than be like, I need to be at the pool, I need to be at the pool, I need to be at the pool. Because you're just going to find yourself getting drained and pulled down all the time. And you might see your performance levels start to drop. As soon as you see your performance level start to drop, that's when you know it's like, right, you need some rest, and you need to make sacrifices. I know over the years now, before having the little one, it was like you make so many sacrifices with your sport, and you get the people that stick by you, which is great. But you get the people as well that just say, "Oh well, you're not that bothered, so why should I bother with you?" Okay, don't. But then if you get the rewards from it, whatever reward comes up, whether that's an opportunity to go overseas and train, whether it's an opportunity to go and speak in front of someone, or go and meet like the royal family, or meet whoever is famous or something like that, and just hear their story, take the opportunity and do not turn it down, because it's quite important. If you turn it down, you'll probably look back in like 5 years or something and say, why on earth did I turn that down? Why didn't I just go and do it? Whereas now you can just go, do you know, I've done it and it was a great experience. And you might turn around and say, bloody hell, I want to do that again. But you might turn around and go, do you know what? It's a one-off experience. Yeah, I've done it. I wouldn't do it again. And it's like, fair enough. But at least you know you can't give that answer until you've actually done it. So, but yeah, like spreadsheets for me and a diary have been like the two most important pieces of equipment, but also having the support as well from the swimming side to sit down and be like, I don't just have, like, if I was looking back now at 2015, 2016, I could have been like, yeah, I've got swimming, that's it. And I've got a work life. But whereas now it's kind of like, no, I've got the little one. This is when I can train. This is when I need to work, because I still need to earn an income to like support and do whatever I can. So, but yeah.
Definitely. And I feel like there's a lot of key messages there, because like not many people will have like the absolute workload that you have as well, and like learn how to balance all three. And you seem to handle it really, really well, actually, and it's paying off.
It's tiring, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh well, it goes without saying, it's tiring, yeah.
And it's like, yes, I've had some sessions where I just feel like, do you know what, I need to just chill out this session. And you might have like a key set, but it's important to just turn around to your coach and be like, I am knackered. Like, I feel so worn out. And it's whether you just turn around and say, right, let's do an aerobic session and we'll do the key set tomorrow and see how you feel. Because I've done a few days like that now where I've just turned around and been like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely knackered. Like this week, I had my second jab this week and I felt absolutely shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I just looked horrendous. It felt all right at times, but then other times I was kind of like, nah. Like,
it's just being open and honest, isn't it? Really, just have to be open and honest. Well, wrapping this podcast up, I know we've like mentioned about like our hints and tips of like for planning and routine, but like, is there something specific that you would like to say to people that are listening?
For me, I think it's important to have that communication as well. Like, it's not only about the planning side, it's the communication side. Because you can quite turn around and be like, yeah, I'll go and do this. And your family might not know, your parents, mums, your dad, grandmas, aunties, uncles, whoever, or you might just miss a session. Unless you've got the communication and the planning in place, you know you're going to go in the right direction. Just be open and honest. Like, unless you're open and honest, then that'll help you out massively as well.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me as well, what my mum always used to say to me from like when I was younger, or like when I was thinking about leaving swimming or just stop doing what I would want to do anymore, she would always say, what would you regret more? Not leaving or quitting the sport, or not giving it your full potential? And that's a quote that I live by, like, especially through swimming, but also like it's helped like throughout life as well. So if you ever do come to a decision where you want to stop something, just reflect and reevaluate of like, is this seriously that what you want to do? And if it is, fair enough, you do you. Or do you want to give it your full potential, or like, do you want to take it as far as you physically can?
Would you say it's more turn around and quitting, or just turn around and saying, I want to take a break and just to switch off?
Well, from what I've been through is like, I've never thought of like taking a break. I've always thought like just leaving and that's it.
Right, okay.
I've never like considered a break or anything like that. I've always thought like because I feel like with swimming it's so hands-on and it's so intense, and I feel like for me personally, I can't see like having a break from it and then coming back. Like I know you've done it and like you've
not
done
like
it.
Me then.
I know that you've done it and done it very, very well, but like for me, I just can't. I feel like once I leave, that's it.
Yeah. Everyone's different though.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like it's whatever works for you. Like you say, like you've got Jay who would turn around and just be like, "Oh, I'll quit and just go into coaching, and I'm not coming back to swimming." You might do like the odd session off your own back and just get in with like the public. But you've got myself who's like, I'd done from 2008 to 2008-9 all the way up to 2016. Then I took a break, took like 2 years out, and then I came back, which has massively helped me out. But
yeah,
everyone's different. We can't all be the same. If we all were the same, the world would probably be boring, to be fair.
Yeah, it'd be so repetitive.
Like, it's knowing you and just asking the right questions about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it was just like we've had a few discussions like off camera and off podcast as well, and it was just like I would have, if you said to me last year that I would go to uni this year, I would have just told you, "Oh, shut up, man!" Like,
yep.
And now I've applied for uni. It's crazy, honestly. Like what happens just like within just one conversation. You know what I mean? Because it took one conversation for me to be like, "Oh, right, okay." I might consider this. But yeah, it's just going through them experiences and then learning of like what you want to do, and it all comes down to really planning and communicating and having a routine set.
Yeah. But yeah, if anyone's got anything they'd like to share or basically tell us, then obviously feel free to drop it in the comments box below on YouTube, or like reach out to us on social media, whether you want to drop us a DM or whether you want to just like comment on one of our posts. And obviously we'll be more than happy to listen out and see what you say. But we hope you've enjoyed and obviously take on board what we say. And thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope that you enjoyed, and we are so excited to bring brand new content to this. So make sure you check out our socials to stay up to date of when we'll be posting next. Until the next one, take care, and remember, believe and achieve.